Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Home, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
Last day of Adweek. We've been doing an Adweek.
Yeah, big shout outs to all of our sponsors this week. Dario,
Singular Sound,
Mojo Stompboxes.com.
He said with extreme confidence. Did you say Dario already?
I did say Dario.
Who are we missing?
Chase,
Bliss,
Flippin'
Audio.
Bliss Audio.
All these sponsors made this week possible. They're the ones to blame, not us.
Thanks everyone for sponsoring the show and for your continued support of our channel.
Of this nonsense, whatever it is.
This ad was sent by Joey Jaworski. He says this whole epoxy thing is getting out of control.
I agree. This is a Telecaster body that's had a gigantic chunk routed out of the armrest area, that mid-lower bout, whatever you want to call that, in just whatever shape, for whatever reason. It's just kind of a round shape, and then filled with what looked to me like a 30-06 shell, a relatively big rifle shell.
Yeah, those probably are. I'm going to go 308. I think the 06 is bigger.
You think an 06 is bigger than that? I think that's pretty big, dude.
I can't remember what the grain load is on an 06 versus a 308.
No, they look decently big to me. I would be very surprised if they were too far off from a 30-06. So anyways, just randomly filled, laying any which direction, empty 30-06 or different rifle shells. Let's just call them rifle shells.
Yes.
That works. And then half filled up with a bit of clear resin.
Yeah,
it does not look...
It's only half filled, which is, I just realized, and is also very strange.
It is very strange. It's not going to look good with wear over time.
It's going to get dust in it. It's going to get all your belly button lint in that thing.
The shape doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I think it's just trying to follow the contour of the upper part of the body, but with no relation to the lower part.
The ad claims $1 on this, but then it says down below, bodies only start around $200. Yeah, no thanks. You've made a mess of this. You know, you can tell, by the way, Steve and I were talking about these shells. Like, we're fine with guns.
Pew pew.
We're not anti-gun boys. I mean, I'm against people getting murdered with guns. I'm for responsible gun ownership. We understand guns. We have used guns. I think this is tacky gun art, though.
I don't understand. Like,
I'm not for this gun art melded into a guitar.
You know how there's been this movement in the United States of, the president says that all places of worship should now have armed security.
Of course.
And
that's why I go to church, so people can have guns.
But what I am putting out there is, generally the idea is that you don't know who it is. You just know, like, I saw a sign.
Oh, sure. There's like a concealed carry guy around.
I saw a sign that's like, there is armed security on premises. Don't be dumb. We'll kill you.
That's what the sign said. It was
basically
very to the point.
But what I'm saying is, if you play this guitar in church, are you advertising that you are one of the concealed carry guys?
Well, here's the thing that is baffling to me. Besides being ugly and tacky and not having any real design sense, this isn't like telegraphing, like, hey, I can pull these out and like put them in my gun and shoot you, or like, hey, I've got bullets ready to go. These are spent cartridges. These are spent shells. Like, there's no bullet in there. There's no powder in there. Like, there's
right. This is telling the audience, I shot a gun last week
or a year ago. Who knows when? Like, I get it. Like, the first couple of times I shot guns when I was a kid, training with my dad to go hunting or whatever, practicing, shooting targets. I thought it was super cool to grab all the shells that I used and took them home and show my friends, like, oh, these are the shells from the gun that I shot and all the bullets. And then you look at them for, a little bit of time sitting on your dresser. You're like, I don't need these anymore. This is dumb. I'm getting rid of these.
I remember
it's not, empty shells are not cool. It's
right.
not like badass or anything. It doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just kind of dumb. And if you've shot guns before and you've done it enough, you look at empty shells and you're like, yeah, so like, that's like looking at like an empty toilet paper roll. holder,
Right.
you know?
I remember like, again, like being in middle school and whatever, and you go to the shooting range and like be like, oh, like there are certain like rounds. I think when you're a kid and you're generally firing like smaller rounds, like smaller calibers, like finding like an .06 or a 308 like shell on the ground, you're like, oh, this is cool. Look how big it is.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily processing that much from it. But yeah, at a certain point, it's like if you're paying $200 for this body, presumably you're a grown ass man.
Yeah. It's also funny to me when you see like bullets depicted like flying through the air in like movie posters or whatever, and the bullet includes the shell attached to it.
Right.
Is that sort of like kind of out of touch with what actually happens with guns, sort of thing.
You know what's going to happen with this? Some dumb person is going to recreate this, but using actual bullets. And then they're going to get drunk and mad at some show, start smashing their guitar on the ground, and it's going to start shooting the crowd.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't think that would happen. I don't think it could happen.
It could happen, Ryan. If you believe.
Well, let's talk about some ways that would be better to decorate a guitar in a gun theme.
I always like, they're not for me, but I always like I liked the idea, and we've had them on the show a few times, are the
like
the bootlegger guitars.
They have like the shotgun knobs.
Yeah. Or they have the shotgun knobs, or they have like those shotgun, like the one where it looks like a shotgun shell, but you can actually pop it out and the whole thing is like, it's like, it's the outlaw. It's the way, the outlaw country guys would like smuggle their weed or whatever.
Right. It's more subtle.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to do a guitar that's themed after guns, whether it be a rifle or a revolver or something, I think you got to go more subtle. Like have the wood be the same wood that's on the butt of the rifle.
That would actually be a real. I mean, and you kind of
and like oil it with the same kind of oil. I
was gonna say and I was gonna say you kind of have that. You would have this.
Swap out the hardware instead of chrome. Do like black chrome so it resembles the iron of a gun. You
could be going in that direction with all this perloid if you weren't also using rifle rounds. If they were like 45 or,
right.
Some kind of like, but then that's not as recognizable, I guess.
Sure.
Doesn't look as cool.
You know what? Here's a simple thing. Here's a simple thing that gets you in the same territory, but isn't as lame. Cut off the ends of one of those rounds, dip some resin inside of it, then just slide it onto the pickup selector switch as your pickup selector.
Here's an idea.
That would be classy to have the little selector tip be the end of a round,
right?
Instead of like doing this dumb thing where you just dumped a bunch of empty casings into what is essentially like a change bowl that, some kid made for his parent.
If this was
at a summer camp.
If this was a Strat, you could do the same thing with the whammy bar.
Put a casing on the end of it?
Put a casing on the end of it. More than that, what if you just made the entire body out of bullet casings?
And then just filled it up with resin and then attacked it with a router.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be, if you're going for like a badass direction, then turn a bandolier into your guitar strap.
There you go. Like this by itself just is
it's meaningless and it's ugly and it's lame.
I like the analogy that you made that this is the
the change bowl wood shop project,
the ashtray.
Dad, I made you something in wood shop. It's another change bowl for your dresser. Aw, son.
Thanks.
You've already made me 6 of those. What am I supposed to do?
I have so much change. I'll have to collect my change at work now.
Cool. I'll have a backup for the car.
Think of all of the places that I can keep my change.
And essentially, he's done nothing creative with this. Like, he's taken a pre-existing body and put a hole in it and then filled it with junk and then half filled it up with resin.
And it's weird, like, there are 3 pictures with this marketplace post. 2 of them are this bullet one. The other one, you know, regardless of what you think about resin, because I know you're not
The
a
other
fan
one
of
looks
resin guitars,
pretty.
but the other one at least has something interesting going on. Like, how about we get 2 pictures of that guitar?
Yeah.
And 1 picture, like, hey, if you're into something that looks cool, or maybe you're into some like weird art, this is what I can do. If you're some dumbass who wants bullet casings on your freaking guitar, like, I can do that kind of dumb thing too.
You know, that probably is a good advertisement for him. Like, oh, do you have dumb ideas? I can make them happen.
Yeah.
Because most people who want to do some sort of odd modification to a guitar do have a dumb idea.
I feel like there's probably an Ohio joke in here somewhere just for Joey, but
No idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for going on this journey with us across Adweek. I hope you're having some good holidays, fun post
One of these years,
Thanksgiving, leading up to Christmas.
one of these years, we should do an ad year.
Ad year?
Yeah.
Just all ads all year?
Every week is just 5 ads in individual episodes.
You don't have to.
I don't have to edit it.
this
That's
thing.
true. That's true.
I'm going to hate myself when I have to do this in a couple of weeks. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Stay grounded.
See ya.
See you next week.